whether they're mine or not, they're all so ugly, and they don't look like me. I'm a real handsome dude, and these kids look like they come right off the street.
Okay, Mrs. Willis.
Yes.
I mean, y'all have been together for a long time.
Over
What is your take on it?
We've been together for over 50 years.
Wow, 50 years. And you sitting in front of me today.
And I married a man, I mean, is he anything to look at?
I mean, he must have been. You've been with him long enough now.
Well, I
Miss
married
Willis.
him for his personality, not his looks.
Ooh, well, some personality here.
And he says my kids aren't good looking. Well, ugly men make ugly children, honey.
Oh,
These are your kids. I mean, you think just because you traveled so damn much that I was fooling around? Hell, I was home with the kids.
Men in many relationships will have suspicions of not being the biological father to a child or children they are raising with these women. Despite this, they do not demand a DNA test to confirm paternity because they do not want to know the truth if it may end up in conflict or to the breakup of the family. Even though the wives' or girlfriend's actions should have been a red flag, some men go as far as convincing themselves that the child or children are his until it's too late with devastating mental and emotional distress. That is why it is imperative that paternity testing is done at childbirth to ensure that cases of paternity fraud are reduced significantly.
They're his kids. I mean,
all right, Mr. Willis. Now, do you hope these kids are yours?
Yeah, I mean, even though they're ugly, because if they weren't mine, I would have just been pissing my money away all these years taking care of those little brats.
Oh, okay.
that's, you know, I don't get this, because if I was going to fool around while you were gone, don't you think I would have picked some good-looking men that look better than you do?
No.
All right, guys. I got these results in my hand. Is there any final words that you wanna get out before I read these results?
I don't know why we're here. We've been together all this time. You traveled a lot. You think I was fooling around. I think you were probably fooling around when you were on the road.
That's
I
not
bet
true.
there's some ugly kids out there that belong to you.
I don't want these kids around me if they're not mine.
Honey, you've raised them.
Well, yeah.
Don't you love them? I mean, you call them ugly. This is just...
They get in my way.
Oh,
This is just wrong. This is just
well,
wrong.
you know what? I didn't have a time in here with you guys today, and I'm gonna go ahead and get y'all out my hair.
Yeah, tell them. They're my kids. I mean, they're your kids.
All right. The results reads as follow. First child, Mr. Willis, you are not the father.
That's what I figured.
No. Oh, that's good.
Mrs.
No,
Willis.
that's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong.
Second child,
That's got to be. It's a mistake.
Mr. Willis, you are not the father.
You are reading someone else's file. This can't
So
be true.
I have a mailman and a plumber.
Oh my God! Oh, wait! No, hey!
I'm sorry.
Words.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I just.
Child 3, Mr. Willis. I pray and I hope,
Please.
but you are not the father. Oh my God!
Honey, I love you. Don't leave me. You love those kids.
Thank you, Honor. I will see you around. I told you those kids were ugly.
You're
and
ugly.
they don't look.
You're ugly. That's why they're ugly.
They
They're
look
your
just like
kids.
the
That's
mailman.
all wrong.
And the milkman.
It's wrong. It's
Oh,
gotta.
I told you they were ugly.
He's ugly, isn't he? Is he ugly? I mean, come on.
Wow! All right, guys. Court is adjourned. It is so.
Many women intentionally mislead men into thinking that he is the biological father of her child or children. This paternity fraud is rampant in modern society. Unfortunately, many men do not challenge paternity issues, despite having prolonged doubt as to the issue of whether he is the biological father. The law gives a limited period of time to make this challenge, but if not done so within this stated time frame, then even if a DNA test proves there was paternity fraud, the law will assume the man is the father, and the affected men are left stuck with mandatory support for children that don't belong to him, apart from the emotional pain they experience. When these men put their names on the birth certificate, the courts will disregard any paternity issues that come up in the future and hold the men liable for support irregardless. Most men will have an emotional bond with the child or children, but once paternity has been proven and he is not the biological father, he most often loses all or any rights to the child or children. It's dumbfounding how men keep getting themselves in these situations, regardless of all the red flags they probably noticed but chose to ignore.
Mr. Kaiser, if baby Isaac is not your biological child, can you still work on the relationship, or is it over?
It's over, y'all. It's over.
Mr. Kaiser, you are not the father.
Are you sure?
I'm sorry, Mr. Kaiser.
You sure? Are you
I'm
sure?
so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's gotta be a mistake, right? It's a mistake, right?
I am so sorry, but it is not a mistake. You are not baby Isaac.
But he can be his father. It doesn't matter if DNA or not. He can be that boy's father. Just because he has a daddy that don't care, why can't he be the daddy that does? We've been through hell and back. 6 years. We've been homeless together. We've had to struggle to get where we are now. I don't think it has to end because it's not his blood. Our other child he raises just fine.
I understand.
The emotional pain that this gentleman experienced is truly heartbreaking. This treacherous woman lied and manipulated the man, and despite the truth coming out, she still insists that he should continue to be the father. She is unapologetic and selfish, trying to manipulate the court and the man to continue being her provider. She found a beta male to take care of her and her child after being pumped and dumped by Chad or Tyrone. Women who engage in paternity fraud should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. This crime, which involves fraud, perjury, and conspiracy, causes significant harm to both the falsely accused father and the child. The child is a victim of the mother's deception and criminal behavior. It's crucial to prioritize justice for all parties involved, including the child, by holding the perpetrator accountable.
On the 10th day, we got the email, because they emailed the results. He saw it come through on his email, but he couldn't open it. So he's forwarded it straight to me and called me and said, "It's on email. Can you read it first and then can you let me know?" And at the time, I just remember it was middle of the day. My girlfriend was a school teacher and she had 2 twins and they were just over 12 months old, and I had the twins sitting on the lounge room floor, and then I started to pace the lounge room and I was like, I need to open it. And I just remember reading that first line and it was just like, Michael Bruce Reynolds, you are not. And it's awful the way they write it too, because are not is in capital letters and bold, the biological father of Lachlan Bailey Herneman. And just reading that, I did fall onto the floor, sat next to the twins and just cried and cried and cried. And then I was like, right, put it together, let's call Mix. And then I FaceTimed him. But as soon as he saw the look on my face, he's just like, I'm not. And I was just like, and I just remember saying, like, I'm sorry. And I just couldn't get any more words out. And he just sat there, and he just sat there and he didn't speak at all.
Whatever.
Here's their title. My ex falsified a paternity test, and as a result, I lost 11 years of my life. So in short, the guy's story is his girlfriend comes to him, says she's pregnant. He says, hey, let's get a paternity test. She gets the paternity test, but goes to the actual baby daddy, gets him to submit the DNA. Test comes back, shows the guy, oh, it says you're the father. He goes, okay, well, I'll do my duty. I'll raise the kid. It's mine. Wonderful. I'll love it. And so for 11 years, he has this kid. And then he finds out that she lied, wasn't his kid. Okay, so this is called paternity fraud. It's one of the few types of fraud where the victim is still made to go through with the agreement.
There are studies that show that 1 in every 4 tested men turn out not to be the biological father of their child or children. Often enough, too many years pass before the truth of paternity comes out. Years that these men have lost unknowingly raising kids that are not theirs, biologically due to deceit and manipulation by these women. Even after paternity fraud is proven, most courts will not do anything about it and will still continue punishing these men by making them continue child support and wage garnishments. The deceit by these women and the courts refusing to prosecute these women has made men lose complete faith in the legal system. These men are left with high emotional distress and uncalled for financial burden. We cannot also forget the effect of paternity fraud on the children themselves, who are also victims of these deceptive women.
You claim you spent 5 years in prison for failing to pay child support for the defendant, Ms. Sears' son, Dylan.
That's right.
Mr. Manser, you are not
Oh, God.
his father.
Oh, man. 5 years in prison.
Ms. Sears, do you know?
Yes, ma'am.
You know who his father is.
Yes, I talk to him still.
You cannot stand there and really suggest that you cannot comprehend why this man would not have any type of ill feeling, frustration, or regret as it relates to anything involving you. 5 years in prison. And then I say, do you know who your son's father is? And you say, yes, I'm still in touch with him. That is a really huge pill to swallow.
How many men have served time for being deadbeat dads? This guy is one example of being imprisoned due to a deceitful woman. There are plenty more cases like that of Barry Wallace, who was sentenced to prison for not paying $50,000 in child support for a child that is not his. These women maliciously commit paternity fraud with ill intent, resulting in men paying unjust child support, payments for children they have no genetic connection with. These women write a man's name on the children's birth certificate after childbirth, even though she clearly knows he is not the true biological father. Once the man's name is on the birth certificate, this becomes legally binding. This is paternity fraud. These women then use the legal system to get child support, and if the man rejects this mandatory payment scam, the courts ruthlessly throws the man in prison to serve time, and going forward, the man has to live with a criminal record for the rest of his life. These women are evil narcissists. It is high time these women get prosecuted and thrown in prison.
One of them. Imagine being told to pay child support for a kid that is not yours or go to jail. That was the order the state handed down to a Detroit man.
So today, he turned himself in, but here's what happened when 7 Action News reporter Kim Russell went with him to court.
Carnell Alexander walked into the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice knowing in moments he could lose his freedom.
I stayed up all night, couldn't sleep, thinking about it.
Carnell is a wanted man because he refuses to do what the state orders and pay child support for a child that DNA tests prove isn't his. A child he doesn't even know.
I haven't even had a chance to really speak to him except for one time when we took the DNA test.
Nonetheless, right now, under the law, he's a deadbeat dad. Today, he turned himself in to the judge as ordered.
Scared because I've been before this judge before.
But this time he had attorney Cherika Harris, who volunteered to help after seeing his story on 7 Action News. The judge said he will not go to jail for today.
Thank you. Thank Ms. Harris. And hope that we can resolve this soon.
I'm just trying to help him with his future.
Though the threat of jail is on hold, it is not over. Carnell Alexander still owes more than $30,000 to the state for a child that's not his, because the mom wrote his name down because she needed to name someone in order to get welfare benefits.
And I had to put him down as the father. That was the only way I can get assistance.
Now,
I'm almost homeless. I'm almost in jail. I'm out of work. My money is being threatened to be taken.
Carnell isn't just worried about how this is impacting him. He says the law needs to be changed so when this happens, as it often does, other men don't become dad by default.
We can be defaulted into being a father of a child that is not ours. I don't understand that law, but it is a law in place.
In Detroit, Kim Russell, 7 Action News.
Yeah, you would think that mother would have to pay that money back instead of him, who's not the father's child.
Men are always getting punished financially by these women's lies and promiscuous ways. It gets worse because men are now getting imprisoned, losing years of their lives rotting in a prison cell because these women expect to be financially rewarded at the expense of innocent men. If a woman has an affair and becomes pregnant during a marriage, the husband will be legally obligated to provide child support. The legal system considers any child born within a marriage to be the legal child of the husband, regardless of biological paternity. Even if a man years later learns that a child he has been supporting is not biologically his, he will still be legally obligated to continue providing child support payments. These women who perpetrate paternity fraud should pay back with interest all the money a man has paid as support for a child or children who are not biologically his. Furthermore, what these women have done clearly shows intent and is criminal.
A new proposed law in Tennessee will protect men against paternity fraud, requiring a DNA test before signing and validating a child's birth certificate and gaining any parental rights. The state's child support office is not a fan of the proposed law. Of course they're not. They just want to fill somebody in so they can pay the child support. And some of the times the man is not even a damn dad. They need to implement this in every state across America, all across the world. You feel me? You know how many dads are paying child support or sign the birth certificate and they not even the dad. When the child come out of the womb, a DNA test should be presented right then and there. It's mandatory. I don't care what nobody say. A lot of women are walking around here getting all that money in child support. And that's not even the dad at all. Because no DNA test was presented after the child's birth. How y'all feel about this? I'm glad they doing that in Tennessee. They should do it all across the world. All right? And if a female don't like this, don't want to do this, then they hiding something.
Stop buying stuff for him.
Why wouldn't I buy stuff for my son?
Because he's not your son. Sad to say, but he's not your son.
Whoa. What the hell you mean he's not my son?
He's not your son. I've been meaning to tell you for the past 7 years. He's not your son.
Whoa, you've
Stop
been meaning
buying
to tell
him
me for 7 years that the child that I've been raising with you is not mine?
You're not even raising him. The only thing that you do is take him to school. Why you think he don't look like you? Why you think he don't have your personality? Hell, he don't even like you.
Fellas, come in close. I want you to hear this. You, my friend, are a lion. You are not a simp, nif-non, dishwasher, or a male hyena, nor do you have any desire to date women who behave like that. In fact, moving forward, every single woman you deal with, you're going to make sure you put them through a vetting process so strenuous that you would think she was getting a security clearance and had access to state secrets.